Welcome to another episode of Trauma to Triumph. My name is Lindley and I'm the host. Today we're going to talk about mindset and how to overcome mindset that are not serving us anymore. Our speaker today is Cara Elizabeth. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I'm so excited to spend some time with you chatting about these are my most favorite subjects.
Something that's hard to understand, but yet very important, how it's impacting our life without even knowing it, right?
Absolutely.
So can you share with us what is mindset?
My gosh, what is mindset? Mindset is the foundation for everything. Where we're at in our life right now is a direct reflection of our mindset and our beliefs. And so if we are living in a body that we don't feel good about, it has to do with our mindset around health. If we're living in a bank account that doesn't feel like it's serving us, it has to do with our mindset around money. If we're in relationships that maybe aren't serving us to the level that we want, it has to do with the mindset wrapped around worth and relationships. So ultimately, to go from where you are at in life to maybe where you want to be has everything to do with the power of your mind.
How are mindsets formed?
Really, a lot of it is really just imprinting from childhood, depending on how much our listeners are tapped into personal development or podcasts, or you'll often hear people talk about who you were before the age of 9. And it seems to be around the age of 9 or 10 is when we start hearing things on the schoolyard, from our parents, from the people that we are around, our teachers, and we start picking up these conditions. So if you are raised in a family where, money is the root of evil, or what do you think, money grows on trees, we can't afford that, you're going to grow up with a mindset around money being evil or money being scarce or always having a fear around that. So much of where we're at in life as adults and as we form into adults is really based on the mindsets that have been imprinted in us from those that have been around us. And they didn't mean to potentially send us on a course of not believing we're worthy enough, or not believing that we had capabilities, or not feeling lovable, or all of these things. But it's really centered in hearing these things. Then the mind goes to work, because the mind doesn't know truth from fact or fiction. If you hear stories, your brain is trying to prove. So if you feel that money is evil, then you're going to be constantly doing things, and your brain is going to see, that person had money and they aren't nice. See, that person had money and they're not nice. And so it's going to show up to prove to you that the thought you have is real, even though it's not.
Okay, so mindset form before beliefs, or belief form before mindset? And how do they relate?
Well, that's like a chicken before the egg question, maybe. I'm not a scientist in that department, but they are definitely intertwined, because we do have the power to control our thoughts. So we are not our thoughts, we are the thinker of our thoughts. And so when you harness the ability to take a step back and really be aware of your thoughts, and then see how they're serving you or not serving you based on the goals or the life that you want to live, the feelings around these thoughts is really what mindset basically is. And so they go hand in hand, meaning when you have a thought, then there's a feeling around that thought. So if I want to change something in my life, but I don't feel I'm capable of doing that, the feeling I have is that, well, I could never do that. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too this. I'm too that. So therefore, we're not going to take any actions, and we're not going to get very good results if we don't take action. So mindset and belief go together, because they're directly correlated to the feelings we have about our thoughts, and the feelings we have about our thoughts are directly related to the actions we take. And the only way you get results in life is through action. So you're either not doing anything, which is an action, or you're moving the needle forward to whatever it is that you want to change, which is an action. And they both give results. One is the desired outcome, and one is nothing changes.
You mentioned mindsets are feeling around thoughts and beliefs. How thoughts are formed?
Again, I'm not the science guru of that, but it is basically around everything that we allow into our brain. So if it's news, if it's social media, if it's the friends we're around, you start hearing these things, and you start taking ownership of thoughts. Some of them are our own, if you believe in past lives, some of them are past lives, some of them are generational thoughts. There's all different ways that this can go depending on a person's belief structure. But what ends up happening is the thoughts that we have, subconscious mind starts showing us proof of that. And so whether it is from a parent, a friend, a sibling, somebody you follow on social media, a book you read, as you start to focus on that thought, more evidence will come to prove that thought as true.
Okay, so what we're saying here is that thoughts are stories that have been practiced for a long time. Thoughts are the thinking that have the emotion attached to it in our subconscious mind, which we have practiced for a long time, that they become automatic.
And some of them are actually, we don't even know where they come from. That's the craziest part, is how many thoughts we have every day that we're not even aware of. And that's why you might have a thought, well, I'm not good enough, or I could never do that. And so that's why I always say we're not our thoughts. We are the thinker of our thoughts, because a thought of I'm not good enough. Well, is there proof of that? Like, have I seen another woman have success? Have I seen another mother? Have I seen another man? And so we get to choose. The thoughts maybe have been from parenting, maybe they've been something or maybe it's something deep inside that we never actually thought out loud, but it shows up, but it's not 100% truth. That's why thoughts, we don't have to adopt them. We get to choose. I like to say it's flipping through your closet, and you get to flip, like the thoughts are, no, I don't want to wear that. I don't want to wear that. I don't want to wear that. Oh yeah, I'll wear that. Same thing happens in our mind. You can't do that. No, I don't want to take that. You could do that. No, I don't. You'd be great at that. Okay, I'll take that thought. So we can have the power. When we actually see it, we can have the power to control our thoughts.
Thoughts are usually attached with emotions that drive us to take action, how we live our life. So what are the thoughts that are not serving us?
Every one of them that keeps you stuck. I mean, I'm almost 51-year-old. So a lot of my circle are, I'm too old to start something. I shouldn't do that. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough education. I'm too educated. I mean, honestly, everything that keeps you stuck is a thought that's not serving us. So the best way to find out if your thoughts are serving you or not is take a step back and ask yourself, am I living the life that I want? Is this it? Am I fulfilled? Am I giving? Whatever it is that brings you joy, is that what your life is showing up for you? And if it's not, then your thoughts are holding you back.
Yeah, like some people have a thought that they already know everything. That's one of the thoughts. Or they want to be right, or they are perfect, or they don't want to be controlled. All these service thoughts. Also, there are reasons behind those thoughts. So now how are we going to figure that out?
The reasons behind the thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it takes some unpacking. I just actually learned something the other day from a beautiful young soul and what you were just mentioning there fits so tightly into what she talked about in terms of imposter syndrome, right? I'm not good enough or what have you, but the need for perfection, the need to be right, the know-it-all. She actually broke it down into all these different aspects of imposter syndrome, which all has to do with our thoughts. Having to know it all. Well, we can't know it all. I mean, my gosh, there's so much, right? And so when we're really looking at how to figure out what those thoughts are, nothing is instant. We can't download a PDF and have the secret. So the key is to be aware of it first and foremost. Am I not doing something? Am I not asking for the promotion because I don't feel like I'm good enough? Am I not asking for the raise? Am I not asking for the date? Whatever it is. And so it's really starting to be honest and true that it's not about anyone else and 100% about you. And I think that's the hardest part for most people, because we want to blame. Well, my parents, my this, my ex-husband, my blah, my job. But I feel if you can flip the mindset to be empowered that it's all about you, then you alone can control where the steps go. So it really has to do with, I personally love people to journal, to write things out. And it takes time. Again, there's layers to be able to open up to yourself, forgiveness, for people, and to forgive somebody. You don't have to actually forgive them. You just have to, in your mind, forgive them, or let it go in terms of something that might be holding you back. But unpacking, where do you remember hearing something? That's my most go-to tool when I work with people, is to say, like, let's go back. What do you remember something that you heard? Do you remember what your upbringing was like, or things? Because very often, so much of what we're dealing with now, it seemed so insignificant to you at the time. Somebody called you thunder thighs, and now you've had a horrible body image for the rest of your life. And so it's really taking the time to unpack it all and then be like, well, is that the truth? Can I change? Do I need to change? Do I want to change? And really allowing the timeline to investigate it, be an investigator of your life, and then start to see how I can reframe it to move me forward to a place that feels better.
Yeah, be an investigator of your thoughts, your behavior, your pattern, your action on a daily basis. I think the mindset are based on beliefs and how we raise up and become the stories of our life. And anything that trigger those thoughts, then the emotions attached with those thoughts arise, and then it comes thought after thoughts. So we have to be investigator of those thoughts to figure out what are the root cause of that, and then we have to have an intentions, right?
Most people are going around life on autopilot. We don't even know what we think because we're making decisions all day long, but we're not even thinking about it. I'll drink that, I'll eat that, I'll go do that, and it's we just and so many thoughts. That's why awareness and sitting with ourselves and asking ourselves, what future do we want, or how do we want to feel every day in our body, in our, again, it's a scary thing for a lot of people because it seems overwhelming to move, and it seems like it's such a solo endeavor that it's scary. And that's really why so many people say stay stuck, because it's more comfortable, even though it's yucky, to change and go into that unknown zone of what could it actually be like if I stepped into who I was meant to be.
Yeah, there's so many thoughts in our mind that we're unaware of. But when we're unaware of thoughts, we cannot be able to change. So we need to be still, because thoughts is intangible. You can't really see and touch, but you can feel them. But there's so many of them that you can't distinguish really where they belong or how it come about. So in order to really be aware of these thoughts, we need to eliminate a lot of distractions and be still enough to really get to know these thoughts, so that you are aware of how these emotions attach to these thoughts. And then you can be mindful about that and set the intentions to change these thoughts in order to have a changed mindset, right?
It sounds simple, but it's it's a journey.
Logically, it sounds simple because we can't see these thoughts. There's even thousands or even millions, and who knows, because these thoughts are repeated thoughts. So they're in layers, correct? So they may seem the same thought, but they may not be the same thought, because thoughts are attached to different events or experience in our lives. So there are many that a conscious mind can't intellectually connect.
So one of the most interesting things that I learned was that our brain is moldable. We can rewire our thinking. So that neuroplasticity, because oftentimes people will say, well, that's just how I am. That's just how I think. That's just how I do things. That's because the course of your brain is just run into a really deep rut of negative thoughts, but you can change that by vision boards, by I am statements, by visualizing yourself with the positive outcome over and over and over again, and feeling it and seeing you in that dress that feels good, and seeing you with that promotion, or seeing all the zeros in your bank account, or whatever that is. Your brain doesn't know right or wrong. Your brain doesn't know that check is fake. So your brain starts to rewire, and you can completely change the thought patterns that you have. I used to be very, very, very negative about everything, and now I can hardly have a negative thought at all.
There's a science proving that thoughts, neurons communicating with each other. When you're in a different state and you're bringing those thoughts up, then the emotions attached to those thoughts come up. There's what called a snap. There's a gap there that energy or emotions are exchanged. But if you come at a right time, at moment, during that meditative state, the emotion exchange. The event stay the same, but the emotion exchange. Then you feel differently and think differently and behave differently. So when you are consistently practice what Cara was saying, daily gratitude, being grateful, if you consistently practice enough, where you kind of bring your state of mind to that synchronicity, it exchange information and the energy starts to shift and change, right?
Yeah. It just doesn't happen overnight. And that's the hardest part for people. And anything worthwhile takes a while to see. So you just have to kind of lean in and start adding little things into your life.
I think our conscious mind are in control of our life. So we just utilize our mind and ignore our subconscious mind. And we keep going and going until, the subconscious mind said, I had enough. I'm going to wake you up, right? Until you fall rock bottom, like experiencing traumatic event or some health issues that you have nowhere else to go but inside.
100%.
When there's pain enough or the tragic that you have nowhere else to go but inside. So what are the steps that you suggest people to take the initiative to move beyond?
The limiting beliefs. We either have empowering beliefs or limiting beliefs. And again, you know what you have more of based on if you are living a life that you are loving or if you are finding yourself constantly in a state of it's not good enough, I'm not good enough, this kind of thing. Some of my key success steps to that are being very mindful of what is in your reference, meaning I don't watch the news. I spend little time on social media. And when I am there, I only follow people that fill me up, that don't inspire me. I don't dabble in politics or anything like that. And so I choose what my brain sees. That's the first step, because even if you think it's not going to be a significant thing, if all you're seeing daily is positivity, people doing things that light you up, that spark joy, then you're going to start naturally doing some of those things. Also, podcasts, books, events such as this. I mean, we are so blessed to be in the time that we are right now that you can quite literally be plugged into nonstop positivity and stories of people going through tragedy and then turning to triumph and all of these things, so that you can't tell yourself that's not possible, because pretty much everything in this world almost has been done by somebody. And so I always say to people, really pay attention. If you've heard the story, you are like the 5 people you surround yourself with. That's truth. And while, maybe you're not in a situation with a spouse that thinks positively or you're alone or what have you, we do have the ability to pop into these podcasts, to plug into things like you're doing. We have the ability to control what is around us. So that's first and foremost. And then it's really just getting very clear and asking yourself, like, if you could, like, let's say that if you're listening to this show, that you have a 2-hour window after that, everything that you write down in a journal will come true. You want a house in Mexico, you want to travel to Fiji, you want your children to be whatever that is. Take the time to write out your biggest dream for every aspect of your life. I feel that people don't dream anymore. And that goes right back to that childhood spark of, I want to be a princess. Like, why not? One thing that made me take action when I heard that years ago was they said, if you don't write it down, there's no way it could possibly happen. So it takes time. Again, your big dream might be something smaller, but as you get into it, and there's no limit to what is possible for you. So why not craft it out, right? The pen is in your hand. You can create the story of your life. How do you want it to pan out? It's not an easy thing like lose 20 pounds, cut out the carbs. There's lots of steps to it, but those are the most powerful steps. What's around you, what's influencing you, who you're around, what you think about, and then the ability to dream of what you want more of in life from a good, from a fulfillment side.
Right. It's like editing your life. What you need to take out and what you need to include in.
Yes.
It's like anything. You want to be better, we have to edit it, right?
So you know what I think stops so many people, those perfectionists that we talked about earlier, which is a lot of people are having all the answers, is they feel they need to have the plan, the roadmap detailed before they even take any action. So I want to honor for everybody listening to take some action and then take more action, because it's either going to lead you to a space that feels good or you're going to learn something. There's no such thing as failing. Fail means finding answers in learning. So you're going to make mistakes, air quotes, but that's going to lead you into something else. So don't try to map out how I can drive from here to California and not expect detours and things that maybe will take me to Arizona instead. And so I think so many people wait to have it mapped out to the end, But if you can let your soul, your spirit, the universe, God guide you, you're going to end up somewhere you can't even imagine right now. And it's so amazing.
Yeah, life has a lot of detour.
Mm-hmm.
And in those detour, it teaches you how to grow internally. So if you're trying to avoid the detour, you are avoiding growth. Edit your life. Again, how to do that is you write down, right? What are the mindset that are serving you and the mindset that are not serving you? Write them all down and focus on the mindset that are serving you or the mindset that you want to cultivate to achieve, and focus on just one for now and then expand eventually out.
I call them red light stories and green light stories. So if you take a piece of paper to what you're saying and write down all of the things that you don't believe about yourself, and then what do you believe about yourself? And a lot of people have negative beliefs. I'm not good enough. And then there's the how amazing I am. And a lot of people don't have anything to write in the this is how amazing I am column. So take the thoughts that you write, the limiting beliefs. I can't, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't know anything, I didn't go to school, I'm too knowledgeable, and reframe them. So, I'm too old. And then you can just reframe that to, I am of the perfect age to show others my age what's possible. And then you just start reading those, even if you don't believe them. Your brain will start to rewire. And before you know it, you'll be this amazing human inspiring other people in that age group because you took the step.
If you don't know what a belief that inspire you, you can look at characteristic that you want to cultivate that uplifts you. Not like you want to be somebody, but a characteristic that you can build. It's in you. It's like a remind of you. When you are aware of that, that's when you start to cultivate that, right? There are a lot of models, but you make sure that you don't become them. You just have to look for characteristics that uplift you, inspire you, because it's spark you. That means it's in you already. When you become aware of it, that really enlighten you to really move forward to that. Trying to want to cultivate that more and grab that more and more.
Yeah, an exercise I have people do just right around that is to think about 4 to 5 people that you admire in life. Anybody. It could be people that are alive or dead. It can be people in your family, people that you look at and you think, wow, he does this so well, or she does this so well. And take a piece of paper and just start writing all the things. He's funny, committed, she's successful, she's got integrity. Just write it and write it. She's fit, she likes to dance, whatever it is. I mean, I think of like Oprah and J-Lo and Ellen DeGeneres. Like, I think about all of these amazing people. I think about other people that are in my circle of influence for my industry and that I admire. And so you write down all of these qualities of people and then put your name at the top. Because as you said, if you recognize something in somebody, it's already inside. You only have we only see what is already inside us. So if you have this paper now, I have one right there in my office because I live by what I ask people to do. So all of these amazing qualities of all of these people. And now at the top, it says Carol is all of these amazing qualities. And I look at that all the time. And now I'm fantastic.
Yeah. So when you look at those characteristics, be aware of what emotion come up for you, right? Are they patient? Are they authentic? Are they empathize? Are they compassionate? All those internal emotion, internal characteristics that really uplift you, correct?
Yeah, so good.
Be still to get to know your thoughts and your behavior, the pattern that you're practicing. Are they serving you? And set intentions. Do you have anything else to add?
Find what works for you. Because even that, when you say be still, it took me a long time. Like I'm a person that doesn't sit still. I'm a person that goes. So meditation or having all these big, long things that sometimes you see people say, and you've got all of these checklists. And so it seems overwhelming because especially if we're women, if we're not doing all of them perfectly, then we're failing. So we don't even try. So find something that works for you. So for many people, I mean, maybe it's just a walk. Like meditation can simply be go for a walk by yourself with nothing around you. You're not listening to anything. You don't need a friend to talk to, and just walk, appreciate nature and let your thoughts just have some time and notice your thoughts. And you'll be amazed, actually. That's usually when I call it your spirit guides will start sending you the messages of what you should be doing in your life. And you might hear it and be like, what is that? And that's when you want to unpack all these limiting beliefs to step into what you're being called to do.
So when you edit your life, right, then you have a clear map to live your life. And any actions or behavior or any intentions that you have that out of that alignment that you have already edited, that means you are taking a detour. Go back to the life that you have recreated.
It's basically a shifting in our identity. And so there's something called the cycle of growth. And we all go through it over and over again, especially as you start to move and shift things in your world. So identity is right when you're super excited about something. So New Year's, oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this, or whatever it is that you're super excited in at the beginning. That's when you don't know what you don't know. So you're super excited. And then you go into deception. And deception is when you start to realize, oh my gosh, I don't know everything. I'm not going to become an author in a week. I'm not going to reach the pinnacle in 2 months. I'm not going to run a long marathon with 1 week of training, whatever that is. And that's when most people give up, because they're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. I'm not. And then the next phase, which is where the magic happens, is transformation. So now you're aware of what you don't know, but you're working on reframing your mind, learning the skills. You're consciously thinking about it. And then identity is when you shift into not even being aware that you know what you know now. And that's when you operate from a space where people are like, wow, you're so gifted. It's so easy for you to speak. It's so this, that, and the other, because that has now become your identity. But it's the journey, and you can't skip parts. You can't go from excitement to having a new identity without going through the deception and doing the work through transformation.
Yeah, it's the journey. When you do personal growth, you can't set an expectation because there are a lot of detour in between internally that you're not aware of. So if you collectively or consciously set an expectation, that's when you set yourself up to disappointment. You just have to experience the journey. Take action toward that, edit stories, edit life, right?
Yeah, I love how you said that, edit, because, I use the analogy of your closet for flipping through thoughts. And so it's like your closet. If you keep bringing in all these thoughts, but you don't take out some of them, what is your closet? A jumbled mess where you can't find anything. So
right. It's like you write a story. Let's say you use a pencil, you write a story. You cannot edit your story by writing over the word, right? Mm-hmm. You just have to erase it and write it over. It's like you mentioned, you don't have enough space in the closet. You cannot dump more and more on it. You have to remove them in order to have more space. Same with our personal growth. It's a energetic field, energetic energy that we can't visually see, but it exists.
Powerful.
Science has proved that. And something that we can't see or touch, but we experience. You have to go through the experience. Life is about experiencing all these things internally. So professional help us get things, achieve things, make life easier, but it does not bring us or buying our happiness and fulfillment. Highest level of fulfillment and happiness is to declutter these thoughts that are not serving us and cultivate thoughts that are serving us, thoughts that bring these positive emotions that uplift us, that fulfill us in a whole existing beings in every cell of our body, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, something that we are not trained, but we need to reclaim.
Be open to try.
A lot of us are trained on our intellect to abide this rule, to practice this way to achieve a happy life, but it's not true. It helps us, like I mentioned, to live a comfortable life, but it's not fulfill us. It's not bring us the highest level of happiness that will forever with us. Again, it takes work because we are being dormant for a while, right? And it's easier for kids because they don't have all these thoughts formed yet. The intellectual brain has not formed yet, but we have. Because of that, we dump so many stuff in our space, in our closet. On an energetic level. So we have to do the work if we want to.
Time to take out the old styles and put in the new fashion.
Yeah, that's the end of our conversation. So would you like to add anything?
Oh, just thank you so much for your time today. And to everybody listening, it's not an accident that you're listening to this show, this episode. You probably have a little rumbling in your soul that there's something that you want to do and the limiting beliefs have stopped you. So let this be your permission slip to start taking action to edit your closet. I'm always happy to have conversations with anybody. So you can circle back to me. I'd love to chat. I love helping people take a step into their next level self, because that just means you're going to help other people in the process.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on my website, carolelizabeth.com, on Instagram at @Iam_Carol Elizabeth.
All right. Thank you so much again, Carol. Thank you, you guys. I see you guys in the next episode.